From the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Although it has been 24 hours, the University of Kansas is still attempting to clean up the ice. KUJH reporter Brandon Cotter takes to the frozen streets to see how people are handling them. All across the nation, students peacefully protested against school violence, and high schoolers in Lawrence were no exception. As KUJH reporter Taylor Thomas shows us, today wasn't a regular school day. Thanks, Brittany. No surprise with the rain, considering it's almost March, but here's a surprise. The Interfraternal Council held an invitation-only meeting last night to determine the future of the frat activities. Well, some fans are not able to travel with the team to San Antonio, but we can expect them to be on Mash Street.
All right, the Lawrence School Board is voting tonight on whether to change the name of South Middle School to honor Billy Mills. KUJH reporter McKenzi Davis tells us how the idea started.
Yes, Alex. In November, the board supported a name change to honor the city's Indian heritage. A South Middle School mom first proposed the decision to change the school's name because she wanted the school to honor Lawrence's Native American heritage.
The Equity Advisory Council was very supportive of the idea of changing the school's name to honor the Native American heritage because the land that the school is built on was donated by the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs and Haskell.
The mom's proposal started with the superintendent's recommendation to survey the students on the name change. After the survey, the board then suggested names for the school.
They brought forward in the fall sometime a list of 5 suggestions from their discussions of possible names for the school, and one of them was Billy Mills South.
Billy Mills attended Haskell University and the University of Kansas. In 1964, Mills won an Olympic gold medal in Tokyo for winning the 10,000-meter race. Mills continues to encourage Native American communities with his organization, Running Strong. Alex? Creating a tobacco-free policy was the easy part for KU, but enforcing the punishment will be the hard part. The policy, shown here, acknowledges the difficulty of enforcement and emphasizes that it will start as a cultural change on campus.
I mean, as far as like the enforcement goes and everything, you're going to have to take students to kind of go in and take that first step. People can submit an online form if they see someone smoking on campus. The form requires the tobacco user's name, their location of use, and your information. But how realistic is this idea?
I think it's appropriate to ask someone if you're bothered by it and just confront them nicely and just ask them if they wouldn't mind.
The policy statement recommends an approach for someone who wants to report a smoker. It suggests introducing yourself and your title, then informing the smoker the campus is tobacco-free. The policy also suggests asking the smoker to put out his or her cigarette and using half-price nicotine replacement provided on campus.
That's, first of all, a mouthful. Second of all, feels really pretentious and very forward and kind of like a nice robot that's like, for your comfort, uncomfortable.
Over the past 2 weeks, I attempted to contact the policy office via multiple emails, phone calls, and in-person visits. Right now, this is their only form of communication. On campus, McKenzi Davis, KUJH News. It's still an emotional time for students as it is the first day back since Saturday's game. Fans have watched throughout the season, staying dedicated to the program through the season's wins and losses.
So this season, myself, like everyone else here at KU, just got really in with the team and really committed and, watching every game. And then to have that happen in the Final Four, just really soul-crushing.
I wanted them to do good. I wanted them to win, and I was just kind of disappointed from the outcome.
It's been 2 days since the devastating loss, and people are still mourning here on campus. However, they still have high hopes for next season.
Always high hopes. Next year's our year.
I mean, we are KU basketball, so we always are decent.
On the KU campus, McKenzi Davis, KUJH News. Sully and Hank's owner Brad Walters says when he walked into the restaurant this morning, he noticed coins mixed in with broken eggs on the kitchen floor.
Came in, freezers were still open and everything was still frozen. So it couldn't have been more than an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Walter says he believes the burglary happened at about 5 or 6 this morning. When he arrived to work, the front doors were open as well as the freezer doors. A few items were stolen, such as iPads, cash, and even alcohol bottles. Walter says the burglars dumped the eggs because they needed the cartons to carry out the alcohol they were stealing. He says they didn't get away with much, leaving more damage than theft.
So other than the cash drawers and the few odds and ends, they didn't really make out with too much. Did more damage than what they got away with.
And also mysterious is the entering part of this breaking and entering crime.
There was no glass, and we're still trying to figure out how exactly they got in. Somehow they got a pry bar in there and worked to where they just popped the lock somehow.
Walters has been very active and emotional on the Sully and Hanks Facebook page today. He since deleted the post, but originally he called the burglars bums, and that got some upset with him for accusing the homeless. He later explained that he was not referring to that population, just referencing the thieves as bums. He has apologized for speaking impulsively and from the heart, and some are posting on Facebook that they are not taking his apology as sincere. In Lawrence, McKenzi Davis, KUJH News. A large majority of KU students come from Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Texas, and Minnesota. As many grads branch out and look for jobs, they tend to go back to their hometowns. While they may get the dream job, they may not be able to afford to live there. The search stops once they find the job, but students are not taking the extra step to determine if they can afford to live there. Time magazine took the Trulia and Indeed results and ranked them. The rankings take into account average monthly income, affordability, and grad-friendly job postings. Houston came in at number 1 with a monthly income of over $3,000 and a 16.7% rate of grad-friendly jobs. Dallas came in second with an average monthly income of almost $3,000 and almost a 17% rate of grad-friendly jobs. Kansas City came in at number 5 with an average monthly income of nearly $3,000 and almost 15% grad-friendly jobs. Chicago ranked at 7th, Minneapolis 17th, and St. Louis 31st. Urban planning professor Kirk McClure says Kansas City remains an affordable place to live because of the demand in affordable housing structures and programs.
But our housing markets are actually very stable and very healthy.
McClure says the Midwest is often ignored and forgotten, but should be recognized for the numerous affordable living options. In Lawrence, McKenzi Davis, KUJH News. Many people support the ban because they believe it will create a better and healthier campus for both smokers and non-smokers.
Secondhand smoke is annoying, and it's also kind of concerning too. And I think even for people that do smoke, it's kind of, it's not necessarily welcoming.
Once the ban is active, people can't smoke any place on campus. Their only choice is to smoke in their cars. Some people are not in favor of the ban. Surprisingly, one non-smoker student says he is against the policy.
It's not fair for them to have to go all the way off campus every time they need to smoke a cigarette.
The KU policy statement says if someone does not follow the ban, he or she could face disciplinary actions or pay a fine up to $500.
I think that's definitely a little heavy. And I was going to say that people would probably smoke anyway and just not really care about it, but that kind of changes it if it's going to be that big of a punishment.
Cell phones, laptops, and streaming services. People rely on a few of these things to get them through the day. Think about what you would do if the internet was no longer easy to access. One KU student says he can't imagine spending his free time without screen time.
Having no internet at all would be weird, like I said, because we're so dependent on it, and a lot of things are just based on the internet itself.
The Federal Communications Commission established the so-called net neutrality rules in 2013. Net neutrality requires internet providers must guarantee equal access to all content and applications without blocking products or websites. Last December, newly appointed FCC Chairman Ajit Pai and FCC members voted to repeal the act. The new rules take effect next month. The FCC says the repeal will help restore and protect internet freedom for consumers and spur competition and innovation. Opponents aren't so sure. A KU media law professor says the repeal can allow internet providers the option to charge customers more for high-speed internet.
So in other words, if you go to NewYorkTimes.com, KU.edu, Amazon.com, whatever, you get there at the same speed based on the plan you have.
In a news release, Pai says there will still be protection for consumers and competition on the internet, the same way it was before 2015. In Lawrence, McKenzi Davis, KUJH News.